Hello everyone. So today we'll be understanding about EC2, which is a service of AWS. So we will be understanding about each and everything, what it does, why it is being used with the real life examples.
So, what if I told you that you can rent a computer anywhere in the entire world in under 60 seconds and you only pay for what you are using and shut it off when you are done? No buying hardware, no waiting weeks for IT setup, no maintenance. That's exactly what EC2 is. And by the end of the video, you will understand what exactly EC2 is like a pro. So EC2, the name itself, elastic means what? Elastic means it can stretch or it can shrink. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Let's forget this jargon. In simple way, a virtual computer which is running inside a Amazon massive data center. Just like your laptop, you have a laptop or desktop. आपका खुद का CPU होगा. You'll be having the RAM, you'll be having the storage and operating system. Likewise, EC2, what it does, EC2 has its own virtual CPU. That is the memory and attach the EBS volume. Now, what is EBS volume? We'll be having a separate video on this. Okay. So that is what actually EC2 is, right? You can increase the size, you can increase the storage, and you only pay for what you use. You are only paying for what other storage you are using out here. Let's understand in a simple analogy. Analogy means like difference. Okay. So here is the analogy. So suppose you are buying a flat. When you buy a flat, you pay a huge upfront investment, correct? Fixed size you'll be getting, and it will be yours forever whether you use it or not. But EC2 is not like buying, it is like renting a flat. You pay for the months you live in there. Suppose if you are staying in this particular area, you pay only for this particular area. In case tomorrow you are upgrading this entire first floor and ground floor, right? You will pay only for this particular area. Understood? And if in case you move out whenever you can move out whenever your projects end. Our startup never buy office space on day one. They rent a decks, right? So EC2 is like this only. EC2 is your renting decks in the AWS building in simple terms, right? So let's come to the other slide. You will understand the end-to-end cycle of the EC2 instances. So if you see this thing, this is a life cycle. This is the life cycle of EC2. Now understand in a better way. EC2 instances, each and every EC2 instances has a life cycle, and understanding it saves your money. So AWS is like booting your server, right? Running in the live form. You are billed per second. You have to pay the bill. Okay, you stop the instances means you are putting the laptop to sleep, right? No compute billing you'll be getting. But your EBS storage, if you see, will cost you. We'll discuss about this thing. What is EBS storage? Right. So terminated. Terminated means what? Whatever instances you have created, right? So this instances is deleted permanently. Critical rule. If I tell you, stopping saves compute costs, terminating destroy each and everything. Don't confuse the two. Stopping means what? Saves the compute cost, terminating destroys each and everything. Many beginners I've seen, they have accidentally terminated the entire production server. सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा वहां पे फिर. Okay, so this is the entire from pending to running, running to stop, stop to permanent deletion, or again you want to launch a EC2 instances. So this is a simple life cycle of EC2. Okay. Now when it comes to the next slide, if you see AWS has 100, more than 100 of instances type. Don't panic in this number, right? They follow a naming pattern. They have a something called the naming pattern. The letters tell you the naming. Suppose for example, T for general. If I tell you T means for general, burstman, M for balance, C for compute heavy, right? R for RAM heavy. So ऐसे नाम होता है. P means GPU. The number is the generation. Okay. So if you see the size, micro, large, and extra large will be there. Micro, large, and extra large tell you how much to use, right? If you are a beginner, start with T3 dot micro with small, right? It is a free tier and it is eligible also. For real app, if you are using the real app, then use M6I or C7G. For AIML, if you are doing AIML workflow, then use the P family with GPUs you can use. I hope the concept is clear to you. Any doubt you have till here? No doubt, right? Okay. Now, when it comes for the pricing, this plays a very important role. When it comes for the pricing model, pricing is where EC2 get interesting and where most of the people leave money on the table. I've seen many of my friends after they use the EC2, they forgot to shut down and they are paying a heavy like $200 bill. So it is costing them in a heavy amount. So understand pricing is where EC2 again gets interesting and where most of the people leave money on the table. It is like a taxi, right? It is like a taxi. If I tell you on demand means like a flexible uses, cost level is high, and this is like a taxi. Okay, it is expensive, but it is always visible, like Ola Uber. And these are basically in the metro location, right? Okay, you don't have any commitment towards it. Now, when it comes for the second thing, that is called the reserve instances, it is like you are using a monthly pass for using the metro. Okay, you commit, they will tell you to buy a pass for 1 year or 3 years to buy the pass, right? Where you can save up to 50%, 70% of it. Okay, reverse instance is like a metro pass, okay, where you can save the maximum and you have a certain commitment. The on demand, flexible use, no commitments will be there. Ola Uber, right? Now, third thing is spot instances. Now, what exactly this spot instances is? It is like you buy the last minute flight deals. You have gone to any Make My Trip, MMT or Go Ibibo, and in the last minute you got a good flight deals. Means massive discount. But AWS can pull it back anytime. It is a low cost but interrupter. AWS can put it into anytime. I believe these three concepts are clear to you, right? On demand, reverse, and spot. Now, the next important concept is about saving plans. What is saving plans? What exactly it is? It is the modern version of reversed, where flexible, simple, still huge discount. Rule of thumb says dev environment use on demand production uses saving the plan. So it has a low cost level is also very reasonable out here. And many of the dev environment people uses the on demand only. Now the next important thing is like security group. In the security group are what? Security group are your EC2 bouncers. So this is a bouncer. He is Shera. Bouncer means they are at the door of what? EC2. Okay. So all the inbound traffic is being blocked. The bouncer is to block the people, right? Until and unless you don't give the access and pass. Now, understanding this thing, you explicitly allow only the people who have the pass, right? So this bouncer, what it does, if you see port 80 for HTTP, 443 for HTTPS, 22 for SSH, think of it as a white list, not a black list. Never and ever open the port, understand, 22 to 0.0.0.0 in the production. That is telling that you are telling to the world, come, please try to hack me. Understood? 22 to 0000. Never tell this thing because you are telling the entire world that come and hack me. मुझे बर्बाद करो. Okay. Always restrict SSH to your own IP addresses. Security group are very stateful. If you allow traffic in the responses, automatically it goes out. No separate outbound rule is required out here. Okay. I believe you understood about the security group in the EC2. Now, the next important thing is the real world scaling example. Let's make this very real. Suppose you launch a food delivery app. Okay. So day one, what you do, you have taken T3.micro. You start with a very small and one EBS volume. You run this thing on the Node.js. Your application goes viral, right? Your IP addresses, your app goes viral like IPL. Instead of 1x, it goes to 10x during your launch. Now, suppose what happens if you don't upgrade? What happened? You don't upgrade to a bigger server. खत्म बर्बाद हो जाएगा, right? Instead, you put a load balancer in front and spin two more EC2 instances. Put up two more EC2 instances, right? In minutes, scale out. When traffic drops at night, you terminate the extra. You only pay for 4 hours. That is the power of EC2. Understood? Why EC2 is very important. If your server is overloaded, then spin up two more EC2. You already had the one. Two more. Suppose during the daytime, you have a very great spike, and during the night time, you don't have a spike. So you only pay for the 4 hours during the spike hours. That is the power of this particular EC2 instances. That's why understanding of the EC2 concept is very, very important. Okay. Now, last thing, what you understood from this entire session, you have understood EC2 is your rentable virtual computer that you can rent. You can choose your size, what size you want, right? You pay out here per second, right? You don't pay the entire thing at one go. You pay for the per second. You shut down whenever you think you are done with the task. You master the life cycle so you never delete what you should not. Pick instances type by workload, not through guesswork. If you're picking any instances, right, you pick the instances through workload, not with guesswork. No, it will not work. And always set up the security guard, Shera, in your EC2 instances, security groups before you go live. Okay. So if you like the entire video, subscribe the channel, and yes, we will come up with more better educational video related to AWS, where you each and every services of AWS will get cleared in the description of this video. So fill the form and our expert will reach you back. Thank you.